All right, in this video, we're going to discuss complex numbers. So first things first, we need a definition. The square root of -1 is called I. So that is I is equal to the square root of -1, or equivalently, I squared equals -1. And the number I is called the imaginary unit. Now, by definition, a complex number is a number of the form z, which can be written as a plus bi, where a and b are real numbers and that I is the imaginary unit. The number a is the real part of z, and we write that as the real part of z equals a, and the number b is called the imaginary part of z. Okay, now up until now we've exclusively dealt with real numbers when looking at solutions. We're talking about numbers, so if you talked about some number like 3, 3 is real, and the imaginary part was equal to 0. But now we're going to look at numbers whose imaginary part is non-zero. These comprise the complex number system. Now, a complex number, z, written in the form a plus bi is said to be in standard form. And a complex number with a equals 0 and b non-zero, if it's just bi, that's a pure imaginary number. If b is 0, then that complex number is a real number. And real numbers form a subset of complex numbers. All right? So we'll graph them later on, but just for you to understand, the complex numbers are a larger set of numbers. Real numbers are a subset that are within that set. And then we have the following equality of complex numbers. So two complex numbers, z and w, are equal if and only if their real parts and their imaginary parts are equal. That's what all of that confusing notation says. So for the first example, we have 3 plus yi equals x minus the square root of -25. So first thing, I want to simplify this, and then they're asking us to find the real numbers x and y so that the equation is true. So this is 3 plus yi equals x. Now here, notice I have the square root of -25. So the square root of -25 I could think of as the square root of -1 times 25, which is the square root of -1 times the square root of 25. And the square root of -1 we've defined to be our imaginary unit I, and the square root of 25 is 5. So this is just 5i. So I have x minus 5i. Basically, if you're taking the square root of a quantity and the radicand is negative, you just take the square root like you normally do and just throw an I in your answer. You see? So 3 plus yi equals x minus 5i. And because of this equality of complex numbers, the real parts must be equal to each other. So that means x must equal 3. And then similarly, the imaginary parts must equal each other. So that means y is equal to -5. That's literally all you do. Okay, now adding or subtracting complex numbers is done by adding or subtracting the real parts together and the imaginary parts together. So it's going to feel just like combining like terms. And then when you multiply complex number, just remember that you have to FOIL, and anytime you have I squared, replace it with -1. Okay? So perform each operation and then write the result in standard form a plus bi. So this is going to be -3 plus 8i minus 2 minus 3i. I'm going to combine the real part, so then I get -5. And then combine the imaginary part. So 8i minus 3i, that's going to give me 5i. Make sure you always write the real part first and the imaginary part second. That's our answer. Okay, let's look at the next one. This time we have to FOIL. So I'm going to have 4 times 3, that's 12, minus 4 times 9i, that's 36i, plus 27i, minus 81i squared. So from here, I'm going to have 12, negative 36i, plus 27i, that's going to be -9i. And then remember, I'm going to replace I squared with -1. So I have -81 times -1, which is going to give me positive 81. And then I want to combine my real parts together. So 12 plus 81, that's going to give me 93 minus 9i. Good. All right, next example, I have 2 minus 3i quantity squared. So remember, when you square a binomial, you get 4, square the first term, minus, you multiply the two terms by each other and then double it. So it'll be 12i plus 9i squared. So I have 4 minus 12i, and since I squared is -1, this is going to become -9. And then I can combine 4 and -9, that's -5 minus 12i. All right, good, looks lovely. Now, if a and b are positive real numbers, then when you have the square root of a times the square root of b, you can combine them underneath the same square root sign. However, this is not true for complex numbers, so be careful not to apply that when you're dealing with complex numbers. You have to simplify them separately and then multiply afterwards. All right, just put that on the back burner. Now, the conjugate of a complex number, you've probably heard the word conjugate before when we were factoring conjugate pairs, like x plus y and x minus y are conjugate pairs. So if you have a complex number z, which equals a plus bi, then its complex conjugate, we denote it by putting a bar over z. And so it's equal to a minus bi. You just change the sign in between. Okay, so the first example here, write the conjugate z bar of the complex number z, and then find z times z bar. Okay, so first things first, z bar, all you need to do is just change that addition sign to subtraction. So it's going to be 2/3 minus 1/2 i. And then now I need to find the product z and its complex conjugate. So that's going to be 2/3 plus 1/2 i times 2/3 minus 1/2 i. And then notice something beautiful happens, because when we multiply conjugate pairs, remember we get a difference of 2 squares. So that's going to be 4/9 minus 1/4 I squared. But I squared is -1. So this is 4/9 plus 1/4, which is going to give me 16 plus 9 over 36, which is 25 over 36. So we've just observed a very special property, and that is anytime you multiply a complex number by its conjugate, the result is a pure real number. And this is something you study later on in higher levels of algebra. Complex conjugation results in a real number. Okay, we're going to use that idea now to help us divide complex numbers. And the way you do that is you multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So anytime you're asked to divide or write something that has a fraction in it, right, with complex numbers in standard form, you want to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 4 minus i. 4 minus i. Ooh. And then let's see what we're going to have now in the numerator. So in the numerator, I'm going to have 12 minus 3i plus 20i minus 5i squared. And then in the denominator, I'm going to have 16 minus i squared. Okay, so let's combine. In the numerator, this is going to be 12 plus 17i plus 5 over 16 minus I squared. That's going to be 16 plus 1, right? So then this is going to give me 17 plus 17i over 17. Ooh, so this is just 1 plus I. Beautiful. Okay, let's look at one more, maybe a little more complicated. So I have 5 minus square root of -4 over 5 minus square root of -9. So first things first, replace the square root of -4 and square root of -9 and to be in terms of I. So I have -5 minus 2i over 5 minus 3i, and then I'm going to want to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. So always pay attention to the denominator. So that's going to be 5 plus 3i. Okay. So now let's see what we have. In the numerator, I have to FOIL the whole thing out. So it'll be -25 minus 15i minus 10i minus 6i squared over, this is going to be 25 minus 9i squared. Okay, minus 6i squared is really positive 6, and then positive 6 minus that 25 I have out front is going to give me negative 19, and then I have minus 25i over 25 minus 9i squared is 25 plus 9. So this is going to give me negative 19 minus 25i over 34. And when you're writing a complex number in standard form, you have to split up the denominator so you can easily see what a and b are separately. Meaning I want to write this as negative 19 over 34, that's the real part, minus 25 over 34, that's the imaginary part. Okay? Good. Now, you need to be able to simplify higher powers of I. So we know that I is equal to the square root of negative 1, and I squared equals negative 1. Well, I cubed is equal to negative I. Why is that? Well, I cubed is I squared times I. And remember, I squared is negative 1, so that's why it's negative I. I to the fourth is positive 1 because I to the fourth is I squared times I squared, which is negative 1 times negative 1. So you need to memorize these first four powers of I. And then the cool thing is they repeat. So what do I mean by that? Well, I to the fifth is going to be the same as I to the first. I to the sixth is going to be the same as I squared. I to the seventh is the same as I cubed, like that. So it repeats. The cycle is length 4. So here we have to simplify higher powers of I to the 126th. So the question is, well, does I to the 126th power match up with I to the first, I to the second, I cubed, or I to the fourth? Well, how do we figure this out? What you do is you divide higher powers of I by 4, since the cycle repeats every 4, and you use the remainder to simplify. So I'll show you exactly how to do that. So I to the 126th, what I'm going to do is take 4, divide it into 126, and I'm only interested in the remainder. So let's see, this is going to be 3, 12, bring down the 6, that goes in once. I don't care about the 31, all I'm after is this remainder. So the remainder is 2. That means I to the 126th is the same as I squared plus 7. And then you do have to make sure you memorize those first four powers of I. So I squared is negative 1 plus 7, which is 6. Okay. Good. Now let's see. I have 5i to the 43rd times 3i to the 27th minus 2i to the 72nd. Okay, instead of doing 3 separate problems, let's distribute first, right? Instead of simplifying 3 different powers of I. So this is going to be 15i. I'm going to add the exponents to the 70th power minus 10i to the 115th. Oh, fabulous. Okay, so now what I want to do is take 4 and divide it into each of these exponents. So 4 into 70. Let's see, that goes once. And then it goes in 7 times into 30. And the remainder is 2. So this is the same as 15i squared because of that remainder. Okay. Minus 10i to the, now let's see here, I'm going to take 4 and divide it into 115. And I'm going to get 2, so that's 8. 3, breaking down the 5, that goes in 8 times. 32, remainder is 3. So this is I cubed from here. Okay, well, I know I squared is negative 1, so I have 15 times negative 1 minus 10 times I cubed is negative I. So I'm left with negative 15 plus 10i. Oh no, not a triangle. All right. So some textbooks might show you a different way to simplify powers of I, but this is what's always worked best for me, and that's what I always tell my students. So as long as you know those first 4 powers of I, you're in business. That concludes this lesson. Trig form of complex numbers is coming up soon.